All right, it's WKRK Radio in Murphy, North Carolina. Pardon the awkward silence there. I was getting my buttons pushed, my headphones on, and I just really wasn't prepared, was I?
No, I don't think so.
No, Sheriff and I were sitting here talking off the air, and I'm like, oh, well, it's time for us to talk on the radio.
Time for people to listen to us now.
Yes. Happy 4th of July, Sheriff.
Happy 4th.
When the sheriff came in first thing, he said good morning. I said, you looked way too rested. you look well rested and way too tan.
I do feel really good this morning. I may have to leave more often.
Well, I'm glad you got to go away for a nice, long, well-deserved, well-earned vacation.
I was in the parade this morning, and several people in the parade said, why are you not throwing out candy? I said, because I just got back from the beach, and I didn't have time to go shopping. So I'm here this morning.
My excuse was I ate it all.
There you go.
Yeah. Especially if it's chocolate. I love chocolate.
Right.
Well, did you have a nice time?
I did. I had a great time. It's just to get away with the family for a while and just spend a few days away from the phone and the radios and all the drama that goes on in the county that we have to deal with every day, and just having a few days of just relaxing and not worrying about things.
Learning how to surf?
That didn't do that too well. I made an attempt to surf, if you want to call it that.
I'm trying to picture you on a surfboard.
Yeah. My wife took some pictures. I hope she don't put them out there. So,
Cindy, if you're listening, make sure we get a copy of that.
She'll probably sneak around and give you one before it's over with.
I'm sure that'll get one of our most liked posts out there.
Our kids, they spent a lot of time out. The waves was really good. There was some storms out in the sea, so the waves were high and frequent, and so they got out on the surfboards and made some attempts, and they did surf some out there. Of course, never doing it before. It's hard to figure it out. I finally just traded mine in and just went and got the boogie board and laid on it out in the ocean.
Hey, that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan.
I said, that's too
there.
much work. I mean, carrying a surfboard around and crashing and it shooting up there and hitting the head, that's just too much work.
That does sound like a lot of work, and you're on vacation.
That's it. So I just got me something I can float on.
Well, welcome back. We're glad you're back home safe and sound.
It's
glad
good
you
to be
had a good trip. Mark did a good job last week in your absence. We talked and talked and talked.
I don't know what I'd do without Mark. He's a good guy, and he's a good chief deputy. He really does a good job there at the sheriff's office.
A lot of great information he shared, so it was good to talk to Mark. I don't get to see him very often, so
he takes care of a lot of things for me, so I don't have to deal with it. And so a lot of times when it comes to statistics and numbers and budgets and all those kind of things, I really depend on him a whole lot for that information because he deals with it every day. And so when I need to know something, I just kind of yell. My desk is kind of across from his in the next room. I can kind of see him from my desk, and I holler yelling, Mark, what's the numbers on this? What's the stats on that? And he can usually rattle them off and tell you where we're at on everything. So.
Well, he told me last week, Monday morning before the show, he went, office to office.
Right.
Do you want to go do the radio today? No. Do you want to go? No.
Yeah.
No. So he said he got stuck.
I don't know why everybody gets so nervous about radio.
I'm starting to think that I'm starting to feel like I'm unlikable. No one wants to come and talk to me for 25 minutes.
Well, I kind of felt that way a few weeks there when you was gone. Every time I'd come in, Donna would be here and you wouldn't be here. So.
Oh, geez, the sheriff is going to be here today. Let's just lay out this Monday.
Let's get out of here. Yeah, let's go somewhere.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, today is Independence Day,
It
and
is.
we have a lot of activities going on, and we want to make sure people are safe and sound and take responsible actions. Don't drink and drive, and we've been reminding people about the fireworks tonight. Keep their pets indoors because we always July 5th that week we have a lot of missing pets because they're running away.
A lot of the fireworks, a lot of outdoor, especially animals that stay outdoors or frequent the outdoors. A lot of times when they get outside and the fireworks are going off and a lot of loud noises, it kind of scares them and they don't know what to do. And sometimes they just run because they're scared, and then because of that, sometimes they get lost and can't find their way back home. So if you have indoor-outdoor pets, try to keep them indoors for the next couple of days, till kind of the fireworks cease. And if you have outdoor pets, try to keep them pinned up, and things of that nature so they don't run off. And
I used to think that, fireworks, that's just something the towns put on, but a lot of people do fireworks at their houses, so your neighbors.
There's a lot of fireworks. We get a lot of people throughout the communities do fireworks. A lot of different individual things, campgrounds, marinas. Just a lot of different things. I know Tri-County's doing fireworks, I think, tonight, and so there's a lot, and even home fireworks in backyards. The typically people ask what's the legalities on fireworks, what can you do, what you can't do. Well, in North Carolina, they can't sell fireworks. That basically what I say, go up and go boom. Really the only fireworks that you can sell in North Carolina are those like the Roman candle types that are don't really have a projectile that comes out of it and is not really high explosive. There are different classes of those. However, we are so close to the Tennessee border that a lot of people go to Tennessee and they buy those fireworks.
Right.
And so from time to time we do get complaints about fireworks and people shooting those fireworks. What I try to tell the officers is be reasonable with people and let people, hopefully they'll be reasonable with us. I always tell people if you're going to shoot fireworks and you're going to do those things, always be safe. Set up your cylinders that you launch out of. Also make sure those are mounted where they don't tip over or fall over. It's good to put safety screens up around those things. If you got spectators that's watching, put screens up where if they were to tip over and fall toward people, there'd be screens that would catch them so they don't go into crowds and things of that nature. So also always be safe with those things, but also be respectful of your neighbors. If you live in a high populated area or you got neighbors that's nearby, just knock on their door, let them know you're going to be doing fireworks, and let them know, that you're going to be doing those things of a night. And also be respectful in such a way that you're not doing it all night long. You're not doing it 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. That try to get everything wrapped up by 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah. People may be working in the morning.
That's right. So
want to sleep tonight.
And also, too, you'll find that when you knock on neighbors' doors and stuff and talk to them about fireworks, you may realize that you have a neighbor that may have just had surgery, or may have just gotten out of the hospital or something like that. So it's always good to be respectful to your neighbors and let your neighbors know what you're doing.
Yeah. And I was reading a story, I think yesterday, that a lot of people that had been in the military, these fireworks bring back a lot of flashbacks, and it traumatizes some of the...
We do have several PTSD issues that we need to worry about, in our neighborhoods and stuff also. So that's always good when you knock on people's doors and let them know things that's happening and going on. A lot of times I know of several people in neighborhoods that when their neighbors shoot fireworks, they'll just leave and go somewhere. They'll go out to eat, or they'll go to Walmart, or they'll go catch a movie or something, just because they know their neighbors are going to be shooting fireworks, and they'll just be gone for that time period. Right. So I think if neighbors be respectful of each other, then I think it's a doable thing that we can all get along with. Yeah. But when you've just gotten out of heart surgery and you're laying in your bed recovering, and it's 11:30 at night, and all of a sudden there's a loud boom outside your window, that can be very frustrating and can be very dangerous sometimes.
Respect is something that we can't give enough of.
Right.
All right. We also wanted to mention, you told me about you were listening to Party Line this morning about some of the things that we were talking about. And I did mention that we'd mentioned this on the show today. We had several callers calling about the homeless man. Apparently there's an article in the newspaper, and then there was someone that said there was Facebook. See, I don't know this person's story, and I just wanted... The one thing I wanted to say is that there's a lot of people that are in need of help and don't know how to get help.
Right.
So what kind of resources are available to people that may be homeless?
Well, there's several different things out there that we need to be aware of. One is that, the Department of Social Services has an adult protective service. So if there are adults out there that are truly in need and need medical care, or they're hungry, don't have anybody taking care of them, need medications, things of that nature, they can always go through the Department of Social Services to acquire that kind of help that they need. Now, a lot of things that I know that the counties and the states do based on needs such as that are based on finances, and they're based on the resources that's available to you. So a lot of times, if people owns property, if they owns houses, several houses, and they have maybe get retirement checks and things of that nature, that may disqualify them from certain things that are out there. But overall, we do have these programs and these departments that will take care of those people that are truly in need. Also, if people are veterans and things of that nature, there's all kind of veterans organizations that are around that they can go to. We got the Veterans Administration Office here in Murphy that they can go over there and seek the help through them. And also just to remind people of the churches that are in the area. There's just a lot of churches around that are looking for people to help. They're looking for things to do to help those in the community. And the thing always comes up, and I'm not talking about this particular gentleman because I don't know his situation either. I don't know kind of what his story is. But a lot of people are concerned about the fact of that when you go out and help people and you give them things about them using that for drugs or using it for drinking and all these other inappropriate things that they may be actually using the money for. And one of the things I just always want to remind people is if you give things with the right attitude and the right heart, you can't determine what they do with it after that.
Right.
You can only work on your end of it. So if you're doing the best you can to help with somebody, use your best judgment and your best call about what you can to help somebody. What I always encourage people to do is if someone's hungry, instead of giving them money, go buy them some food.
Right.
Take food to them. If you've got a situation, say you've got a single mother and children and she can't make her power bill and her power is getting ready to get turned off, don't give her money to go pay that power bill. Go pay it for her. Go to the power company and pay her bill for her. So there's ways that you can help people that you're not enabling people or putting money in their hands to misuse it for different things. So and just some practical things.
Just being able to talk to someone too. Sometimes you can help guide someone to get help that they don't need, without being condescending or just to let them know, here's what's available.
Unfortunately, though, we live in a world where people do take advantage of others. We live in a world where there are scams and where there are things that are out there. And so that's why I think exactly what you said is exactly right. I think it's important to spend some time to getting to know someone, to have a conversation with people, to figure out what the real story is. Because it's easy to roll your window down and hand a dollar bill out the window to somebody. It's easy to put money in somebody's lap. But you really don't know the story. You really don't know whether that person is truly in need or whether they're not in need. And so spend some time with people. If you're truly concerned about this gentleman or any other one that is hungry, that's in need, put them in your car and take them to a restaurant and feed them. Take some food to them. Do something for them. Find out exactly what their need is and take care of that need.
There's a song that we've been playing by the Tallies called "The People in the Line." Have you heard that one?
I have not.
It's a great song. It has a little different sound to it than just the typical Southern gospel song, but talks about. In my summary, it's like you're standing in line and someone in front of you is taking too long, or you get cut off in traffic, and you never know what's going through that person's life until you actually can see. I mean, that person may be rushing to the hospital to save their daughter or something. So we never know, but it's a good song, and that just kind of makes me think. We never know what's going on with these people. That some of them truly need help.
Yeah. We talked about the churches in the area and the people that step up and try to help those that are in need. And I was thinking about this, and I was actually reading it this morning of in the 1830s. We're talking about the 4th of July, and we're talking about what America being great and the greatest country in the world and the country that we love to live in. There was a man. He was a Frenchman, and I would love to pronounce his name. I don't think I can. But I think his name was something. It was Alexis de Tocqueville or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. But he was a Frenchman in the 1830s. He was hearing all these stories about democracy in America, and he was hearing all these stories about how great the United States was, and so he decided to leave France and come to the United States and learn about the government, and learn about why America was so great. And I want to read you something here that kind of goes along with what we're talking about. It'll take just a couple of minutes to read. But this is when he got back to France, he did a paper about why America was great and why it was the greatest country in the world. And when he wrote this paper, this is kind of what he said. He said, upon my arrival in the United States, the religious aspect of the country was the first thing that struck my attention. And the longer I stayed there, the more I perceived the great political consequences resulting from this new state of things. In France, I had almost always seen the spirit of religion and the spirit of freedom marching in opposite directions. But in America, I found they were intimately united and that they reigned in common over the same country. Religion in America must be regarded as the foremost of the political institutions of that country. For if it does not impart a taste for freedom, it facilitates the use of it. Indeed, it is the same point of view that inhabitants of the United States themselves look upon for their religious belief. I do not know whether all Americans have sincere faith in their religion, for who can search the human heart, but I am certain that they hold it to be indispensable of the maintenance of the Republican institutions. This opinion is not particular to a class of citizens or a party, but it belongs to the whole nation and to every rank of society. In the United States, the sovereign authority is religious. There is no country in the world where the Christian religion retains a greater influence over the souls of men than in America. And there can be no greater proof of its utility and of its conformity to the human nature than its influence is powerfully felt all over the enlightened and free nation of the earth. In the United States, the influence of religion is not confined to the manners, but it extends the intelligence of the people. Christianity, therefore, reigns without obstacle by universal consent. I sought for the key of greatness and the genius of America in their harbors, in her fertile fields and the boundless forest, in her rich mines and vast world of commerce, in her public school system and the institutions of learning. I sought for it in her democratic Congress, in her matchless Constitution. Not until I went to the churches of America and heard their pulpits flame with righteousness did I understand the secret of her genius and power. America is great because America is good, and if America ever ceases to be good, America will cease to be great. I thought that when I read that this morning, I thought how true that is of the United States and how true it is of what a great country that we live in. And we have embarked on this thing of seeing salvation in our government. Mm-hmm. You know, we've got the national elections coming up this year, and I don't know that we've ever been as divided as we are now in the United States of America as to what we want to see in our future and where we want to go and what direction we want to go in. But I will tell you this. I will tell you that the secret of our liberty and the secret of our freedom doesn't reign within the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. It reigns within the goodness of the people. And what the writer here, and the French writer in the 1830s, was saying that if we ever as a country, if we ever cease to being good, and if we ever cease to be moral, then we'll cease to be great. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was something that we need to realize, that our churches are very important, and it's very important to our area. And when we talk about these people that are in need, and we talk about these people who look for people to help them, mm-hmm. We look for DSS, we look for these other programs, we look at these things in government to try to take care of our citizens and try to take care of our society. But I think that if our churches would do what our churches are supposed to be doing and be people within our churches that we should be, then we would see our country rise to greatness again. Mm-hmm. And we would see our country doing what it needs to do, and those people that are in need taken care of. If I've always said, and I always believe this with my entire heart, that if every member of every church did what they should do, mm-hmm. there would be no need for a welfare system. There would be no need for governmental support. Mm-hmm. That we could take care of our own people if we would just do it. And so, when we think about this 4th of July season, we think about the greatness of this country that we live in, and we think about how proud we are to be Americans, and we wave our flags, and we are just so grateful to be here. We need to understand that the secret lies with us, and it lies with our spirituality, and it lies with our trust in God. And if we ever cease to do that, then we'll cease to exist. And so I want to encourage the people that are out there and the people that are listening, as it's time to go to these national elections, as it's time to vote for leaders, as it's time to put people in positions that need to be in positions, let's look past what government programs or assistance they can give us. Let's look past of what that we can gain financially or what we can gain personally from people. But let's look at who are going to be people that's going to stand up for our religious freedoms, who are going to be the people that are going to stand up for what our country was founded on, who are going to be the people that's going to continue on our success for the last 200 plus years, who are going to be the people that's going to ensure that we continue on as United States of America. And those are the people that we need to put in positions, and those are the people that we need to vote for.
All right.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier, too, about just the people who are needing help. And I'm guilty of this myself. Sometimes I'll just look to fix this one problem today, instead of looking for a long-term solution. These problems happen every day.
Right.
the key is to learning how to make a permanent solution so that these problems don't keep happening.
Most of the things, and I know there's exceptions, there's bad things happen to people that you have no control over. But a lot of the things that are out there is lifestyles, and it's ways that we could learn. If we could learn to live life differently, we could learn to change a lot of things within our life. A lot of the things, especially when it comes to finances, it comes to budgeting and it comes to priorities and those type of things. Me and my wife was talking several years ago about things in our own life and things in our own household. About that, if we lost jobs or if we lost money or decreased salaries, we started naming all the things that we were doing that we could cut out. Things that are just luxury stuff. When you think about internet, when you think about satellite TV, when you think about cell phones, you think about all the Diet Cokes you buy during the week. When you think about all the times you eat out, there's just tons of things that we could cut out of our life and make our lifestyle different that could really affect our finances with our home. And I think a lot of times this kind of goes with a lot of these same people that are in need. It's not the fact that the need's not there. It's not the fact they don't need to be helped, but it's the fact of just exactly what you said. We need to look for long-term solutions and how to make lifestyle changes and how to do budgets and how to live with what our means are instead of squandering money or wasting it. So
all that, it adds up so quickly. I've told you before the show, my dad used to call me everybody used to call me a tightwad with money. And when I was, I guess it was in my early 20s, I actually sat there and every time I spent money, I wrote it on a log. I kept it in the car with me. I'd go through the drive-through and, okay, I'm showing my age here, $3.80 on a combo meal, which probably cost about $8 an hour or something like that. So at the end of the week, I just realized how much money I spent on food and just the things I didn't. It adds up so quickly.
It adds up very quickly. And a lot of times when we think about this, we don't think, when we want to buy something that's a couple dollars, $3 or $4, you don't think a whole lot about it. It's just $4. But when you spend that frivolous $4 buy 3 or 4 times a day, 5 or 6 days a week, then that one purchase adds up to a lot of money at the end of the year. And I think a lot of people don't realize that until they really sit down and look at budgets and try to budget things. And like I say, it's not to say homelessness don't exist or people don't have needs. They do. There's real needs out there that people have. And there's some people that because of circumstances and things in their life, it doesn't matter how much they budget. There's no food. There's nothing there to get their medicines with, And those are the people that we really need to look out for, and those are the people we need to step up and try to help.
There are so many situations that can create these bad things. A lot of people have lost their homes because of health reasons, hospital bills and things like that. They were living fine one day. The next day, they had some kind of medical emergency, and their life is completely upside down. And it's great to know that there are organizations, nonprofits, and churches and other organizations that can help people like that.
Yeah. And when we talk about, the elections and we talk about the philosophies of candidates and we talk about, law enforcement and what we do in law enforcement and things of that nature, I know there's all kind of different philosophies and theologies and ideas about the way we ought to do things. But when we think about this, we've really got to think about the terms of that, we really can't fix every situation that's out there. We need to look at those situations that we can control, that we can fix. Unfortunately, it goes back to what I said before. Every time our government comes up with these ideas, or churches, or whoever it may be, comes up with these ideas on how to help our community, there are those out there that want to take advantage of that. And there's those out there that wants to exploit the loopholes. And there's those that want to get something for nothing, and they spend their entire life trying to figure out how to cheat the system to get something, And so we've got to realize that that's part of it. That's part of the real deal out there. But when we talk about like universal health care and we talk about these things that our government does, we really cannot make anything. We can't develop any kind of program that'll take care of everybody out there. We really can't develop anything. We hear all this stuff in the media about everything for free health care, free universities, free this, free that. Nothing's for free. No. Somebody has to pay for it. If there's a building being built, somebody has to pay for that building. If there's health care being done, somebody has to pay for those medicines. Somebody has to pay for, the care itself. Somebody has to pay for the sheets that's being washed. Somebody, there's always cost to everything that's out there. And so this idea or this philosophy of living in a utopia where everybody is being taken care of and everybody's getting everything for free, it's just a fantasy world that don't exist. And we need to understand that when we're looking at solutions to these problems, we need to quit looking at trying to fix everybody's problem and focus in on those dire needs that are out there that we need to fix. Just like we talked about a while ago with the finances, there's a lot of people who just through budgeting and through some training and through some education could change their life and change their lifestyle, and everything would be maybe not get everything they want, but they could survive. They could get what they needed through life just by making lifestyle changes. But there's others out there that wouldn't help, that they're still going to be in need at the end of the day. They're still going to be hungry. And so we have to concentrate on those people. And healthcare and all these other things are the same way. There are people that's lost their homes because of health issues, because of health reasons. We need to look at how to fix that problem.
Right.
When something bad happens, when a catastrophe happens, how do you protect this person from losing their home? That's vastly different from giving health care to everybody out there for free.
Right.
It's a two totally different subjects. So I think as a society, and talking about these people that's in our area and these people that need help, I think really carry on conversations, carry on relationships with people, finding out what the true needs are out there, and helping those that you can help.
What kind of homeless population does our county currently have? Any idea?
We don't have a good number on that yet, just to be honest with you. And the reason being is because we do know of, I've talked with the Chief of Murphy and Andrews and the deputies that's out there and what they're seeing. We do know of several people within the county that are living in tents, that are living under bridges, that are living in vacant lots and things of that nature. We do have a number for those people. But what we are also finding is that we have a vast group of people that, through drug addictions and through alcohol addictions and through these different things, are really have nowhere to stay.
Right.
And so what they do is they just roam the county from place to place, from home to home. And so they may stay at this home for 2 or 3 weeks until somebody runs them off from there and so you can't stay here anymore. And they'll gather up at someone else's place or somebody else's basement and somebody else's attic, And so that whole population of people, they're considered homeless because they have no permanent place to stay.
Right.
But we really don't have a good number for that group because we really don't know how many out there are that's doing that.
Have you seen many people just passing through the area, traveling in a homeless fashion?
We have a lot of people just transient coming through. We have gotten, I wish I'd have brought the numbers. I may try to think of those next week and bring them, but we have seen a vast increase of calls for service through the sheriff's office on just suspicious persons or suspicious vehicles.
Right.
Someone in my driveway, someone parked on this back road, there's a truck off in the woods, kind of thing. And so we're going out and checking all these things, and we've seen a vast increase in those type of calls. It doesn't mean that every one of them is homeless. It doesn't mean that every one of them, are transient or whatever. But it does show an increase in those type of calls for service that we are getting.
All right. I know today is a holiday, Independence Day, and a lot of the emergency rooms, their numbers go up on holidays like this. There's a lot of people getting together, alcohol-related and boating accidents, and there's snake bites and people, just out in the insects.
Stings, yeah.
And what's a holiday like this in the world of law enforcement? What does this mean for law enforcement?
Very busy.
Very
just like
busy
the ER
days.
rooms. What will happen is, and really the weather plays a lot into this factor too. If the day goes on today, it looks like it's supposed to be, about 85, 86 degrees today. If we have a nice sunny day all day long and no rain and it's not really overcast and it's just a pretty day, by this evening our deputies will get a lot of calls on like intoxicated persons, fights, domestics, those type of issues that are going on, drunk driving, boating, things going on at the lakes and and larcenies and all those kind of things. Just the fact of that people are being out,
right,
gathering in groups, and a lot of it is alcohol related and drinking and using drugs. So we'll see a lot of increase in those type of calls along the holidays. Now, if it here in a couple 30 minutes or an hour, if it sets into raining and rains all evening, then things won't be as bad. They'll kind of die down a little bit, but we'll still get some of those domestic type calls and assaults and alcohol related issue things, regardless of what the weather will be. We'll get some of those type of things this evening.
And because there are going to be a lot of outside activities today in the heat, and we just want to remind folks to drink plenty of water. I mean, whether you're drinking alcohol, just make sure you're hydrated so that you're going to feel fine.
Right.
And there's so many people that get out and work out in the sun or just get out and play in the sun, and they have a heat stroke or heat stress or any kind of heat-related illness when their body's just not used to that.
And the thing about it is, and just piggybacking on a little bit of what you just said, is when you're outdoors, even if you're swimming, if you're just out in the sun, drinking alcohol during the day actually dehydrates the body. You think that you're putting liquid in your body, so you're not going to get dehydrated. But anytime you put alcohol in your body, it causes the water to evaporate and more rapidly than usual. And so even if you're out drinking, if you're using an alcoholic beverage, please, in the midst of all that, drink a lot of water and Gatorades and things also with that, so you don't dehydrate. Because before you know it, you're just swimmy-headed and clammy, and all of a sudden you're in heat exhaustion point at that point. And if you don't do something about it relatively quick, you could pass on into the heat stroke phase and all that. So if you're going to be outside today and you're going to be drinking alcohol, please try to drink a lot of water and other fluids with that.
All right. Sheriff, thank you very much. I see we've gone over just a little bit. Anything you wanted to add before we said goodbye?
No, just happy holidays to everybody and be safe. See you at the fireworks tonight.
All right. Sheriff, thank you very much. Welcome back. Glad to have you back in the studio with us.
Thank you.